for you tonight.
It is so beautiful to see you.
I want you to want me.
Hey out there, live music fans. Welcome to episode number 14 of the Ugly American Werewolf in London rock podcast sidecast, First Concert Memories, where we invite a guest on to talk about the first time they saw a particular band live and why it was such an important night in their lives. And this month, we have a very special guest, someone returning to the show. That's Scott Holliday of the Rival Sons. Now, Scott came on our main show, Ugly American Werewolf in London, last year to give us a preview of Dark Fighter that came out in June of 2023 and was followed up not too long after by Lightbringer, two albums they had worked on during the pandemic. They put it all together, and I got to tell you, Dark Fighter, my favorite album of 2023. It was fantastic. Check out the Nobody Wants to Die video. Actually, check out all their videos because they tell a great story. But if you like hard rock, here's one of the bands really keeping that alive, and that's Rival Sons. So we were psyched to meet Scott and talk to him about how he makes rock and roll and how they do it on stage. And they're about to embark in September and October on a dual headlining show with Clutch. So we're going to talk to him a little bit about that. But the night we're talking about here on the show is the first time he saw Tom Petty at the Hollywood Bowl when he was 18 years old. And while I'm sure Tom and boys put on a great show that night, this story is a little bit more about what was happening to him in his life and how he was sitting there minding his own business when three very persuasive people came to his door with not only a ticket and a ride to the show, but a little party favor that would make the show even more memorable. It's amazing fun talk with Scott, and I think you're going to dig it. We're going to jump in here in just a minute. First, we have a little business to take care of. As always, we like to mention we're proud members of the Pantheon Podcast Network, a family of over 100 different shows. There really is something for everybody there. You can learn more at pantheonpodcast.com or follow on socials at PantheonPods. And we got to give an amazing shout out to our amazing sponsor, rarevinyl.com. I know a lot of you are record collectors or memorabilia collectors. And while rarevinyl.com is based in the UK, they collect stuff from all over the world and they ship all over the world. So you're going to find that rare first edition print or that import that you're looking for, a deleted single, a picture disc, a box set, whatever it might be, go to rarevinyl.com and then you can use the code UGLY to save 10% off not just one item, but off one entire order. So don't just go and buy one single and save yourself 79p like I saw somebody do the other day. No, go find 8, 9, 10, 12 items that you love. And then you can save a big fat 10% with the code UGLY instead of a small 10%, and your record collection is going to thank you. Now back to Scott Holliday, kick-ass rock star with his bespoke suits, cool mustache, always got the shades on, but his band kicks ass. He's a great storyteller. He loves rock and roll, and that's why we had him on to tell about this fateful night, seeing Tom Petty at the Hollywood Bowl.
And here we go.
He's got to turn on his thing and his thing.
My thing's on.
Where's my thing?
That's a Rush song. There we go. He's back.
I got you?
Yeah,
okay.
man.
Hey.
Looking good.
Hi, fellas.
How are you, Mr. Fuzz Lord?
I'm very good. How you doing today?
Doing all right. Thanks so much for being here.
Happy to be back.
And back in the States, too, man. You did the big European tour, festivals, headlining gigs. You're all over the place, man. We saw the pictures coming in. I'm like, these guys don't want to be home, do they?
I actually came home and was home for like a week or something, 10 days maybe, and took a little 1-year anniversary honeymoon with my wife, too.
Oh, wow.
Straight off to Mexico after I got home for like 10 days or something, or a week.
Was it fun kicking ass in Europe? I mean, those festivals, you could play some big stages, man.
It was incredible. Yeah. It's really incredible. The whole tour was really wonderful, really great. It was really warm. Really warm summer in Europe, but we're like having this extra moment in France right now, which is to me just really different for an American band.
Yeah.
You know, when you're in France, not a lot of there's not a lot of American bands that are hitting except for like really heritage acts, old acts, you know?
Okay.
So for some reason, and of course I could calculate why it's happening, but for some reason we've been able to really connect with our French audience, and that's so cool. They're such a beautiful people and such a wonderful country, and so these two records we just put out really connected and started to do something. So this last tour was kind of a result of that. You know, we played. Thank you. Yeah. We played a ton of French festivals. We played like this Via Charou, this like really super pop festival. It was all auto tune and 808 drums.
Oh yeah,
the whole festival, and then us, and then Rival Sons on the stage. And you would think it would be not go over or be awkward or something, but it was actually really, really wonderful in the crowd. It just seemed like it could be our crowd, you know? So,
killer.
Fun stuff like that on this tour.
That's awesome, man.
That's good because most of the people here, we're all just jerks. If it's in a different language, man, we're not interested.
Right. Right. I always trip out when we're in different countries, different languages being spoken in these different places, and everyone's singing all the words. I think, it's so cool.
The power of rock and roll, man. Hell yeah. Well, we thank you for coming on. You know, last year we had you kind of on our main weekly show, Ugly American Werewolf in London. We were talking about Dark Fighter as it was about to come out and kind of previewed Lightbringer just a little bit. This is our monthly show, kind of a sidecast show, First Concert Memories, where it's a little loose and we like to have people on of kind of all walks. We've had rock journalists on, we've had other podcasters on, fans, and a couple of artists like yourself.
Yeah.
Your buddy Marcus the Darkest came on to talk about the time he saw U2 live at Red Rocks for the Under a Blood Red Sky, like the video we've all seen and all grew up on.
Oh, that's great. I love Marcus, and what a story. That's cool.
It was killer. And so this is just, you pick a night where you saw a particular band. It doesn't have to be the first show you ever saw, but the first time you saw a particular band live and why it was so fun, life-changing, whatever it was, you know. And we've got these 20 just incredibly well-researched questions, but really those are just guidelines to kind of see where's the story going to come from.
Yeah, I love it. Well, you've given me a tough one to follow. The Blood Red Sky U2 or Red Rock show. Damn, man.
It's pretty good. I'll tell you another emotional one. We had our buddy from up in New Jersey. He told a story about like going to see Blues Traveler in New York City, like the first show he saw post 9/11 in New York City, and how everybody was just like, at first, like, is it okay to laugh? Is it okay to catch a buzz and dance? And then once they came out and Michael Franti and Spearhead opened, it's like once the music started, everyone's like, oh my God, we need this. You know, this is so great.
That's beautiful.
To do this again. You know what I mean?
That's beautiful. Yeah. On a similar level, I remember we were out on tour with Deep Purple and going through a lot of Germany and France some years back. And I'm friends with the guys in Eagles of Death Metal.
Oh, wow.
And my tour manager at that time, Pete Stahl from the great Pete Stahl from Scream and Goatsnake and all this. He was our TM, longtime TM at the time. And we had just finished our show. We had just played France. We did the Zenith. And then we were in Germany. And every night, you know, I'd go back to watch Deep Purple play. And he was standing at the back of the stage and he was on the phone. And I just casually, everything cool, man? Everything good?
Yeah.
And he's always says, everything's good. We're good, you know? And this particular night, I asked him, everything cool? And he was on the phone and he went, no, there's something happening. And I go, what is it? And he looked alarmed, which is not him at all. And I go, what's happening? And I'm standing with him while he's on the phone and he looks distressed. And he was actually on the phone with one of our dear friends while the Eagles guys were in Bataclan, if you know what that is.
Yeah.
During the shooting, he was on the phone with our friend and he was telling me, I'm still on the phone. People have been shot. So anyway,
Jesus,
it was something like I never experienced. It was really heavy. And what happened with that. And it was just a terrible thing. We were on tour at the time, though. And I was just going to make the connection that while we were on tour, I remember coming out to audiences. And after that happened, it sent such a ripple through Europe. and we would come on stage, and you could feel it was palpable. You could feel the audience is just frightened and quiet and shaken, like not really ready to have fun, showing up, but not sure if they should be having fun or whatever. And I similarly, we would Jay had said stuff on stage like, we can't let that kind of fear beat us. We can't let this like take over our hearts and like capture us and trap us, you know? Yeah. And I just remember there were several nights where he had to say that on stage, and you could feel the audience break up. It would break up, and then you start playing, and you start putting everything into it, and giving them all the love and power you can give them, you know? And you just feel the room like lighten up and lift up and start to feel good again, and give people like permission to let that shit go right now. We're together. This isn't happening. Don't live in fear. Let's enjoy each other and enjoy the moment. And I can imagine how that must have felt being in New York and seeing that show and just like everybody just being together and feeling that kind of love, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Being together again. That's right. Yeah. And so it's great to have artists like yourself on, because we all start as fans. We all see some bands, you know, growing up or, you know, coming up, and then we all get the idea, God, I'd love to do that. And you really fulfill that dream. Plus now you're making first concert memories for people all around the world, right? Like I'd never seen Rival Sons, and then I saw them. I'm like, oh my God, these guys kick ass. Now I'm going to go buy all their albums. I'm never going to miss them again. You know, that kind of thing. You know? I mean, it happened for Britt Lightning, Vixen. She came on the show to talk about going to a festival that the Stone Temple Pilots were headlining. She runs on the field. The cops start chasing her. She gets maced in the face. She loses all her friends. She ends up crowd surfing. And she loves it, and now she runs rock camp and tours with Vixen, and you know, so it's fun, right? You know, and so I'm hoping you can bring out some of that, because it seems like there might be some potential with this special night with Tom Petty at the Hollywood Bowl here, Scott.
Some tomfoolery, perhaps.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, this is Britt Lightning from Vixen, and you're listening to the Ugly American Werewolf in London.
All right, so.
Ready to...
You want me to talk about my night? You want me to dive into this?
Yeah, so look, the first five are kind of like the questions you get in sixth grade civics, you know, like who, what, when, where, now, why. You shared that with us. It was June 10th, 95 at the Hollywood Bowl with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. It was, basically they're touring the Wildflowers album, but the tour was called Dogs with Wings, which I wasn't aware of.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. But you'd never caught them before this, right?
I'm trying to do the timeline, and I want to say there was one other Petty show I went to, and I think it was after this, man. Yeah, okay. So I think this was the first time that I saw Tom.
Cool.
Yeah.
Was it the first time you'd been to the Hollywood Bowl?
No, I think I had seen some other shows at the Bowl.
Okay. Because that's one of those places that's definitely on my bucket list of places to go. It's just such a cool venue.
It's cool. It's really cool, man. Yeah. And for me, we got to open the Bowl with Sabbath, and it was so cool because they don't have different, it's really like 50s, 60s, like almost like deco vibes. And they don't have different size font for the marquee. So when you roll up, there's this really beautiful classic rounded badass marquee, like you're at the Hollywood Bowl, and that's the sign when you're entering the property, and it just said Black Sabbath, Rival Sons.
Oh,
like, yes, dude. And if you got to put your name next to a band, that's cool. That looks. So I have this picture, and I have plans to probably blow this picture up and put it in my house somewhere.
Hell yeah,
so,
awesome!
It's so bitchin'. But this night, I can give you a little bit of intro to my story because it's kind of funny. How old was I? I don't even know. I was young. I was 18 when this happened, and I had moved out already, and I left high school early, graduated early, and I was living downtown Huntington Beach, where I live now, Huntington Beach, and I'm living downtown, and I live with my band, and our living room is a rehearsal room.
Okay.
So I'm like at this house right down by the water. That is essentially our rehearsal home. And it's like a Saturday afternoon, and I'm just hanging out, like not doing anything. And I get a knock at the door, and a car full of girls pulls up goes, some friends I know, these girls that I know. It's just a few girls in this car, and they come over and go, "Hey, we're going to a concert right now. Come with us." And I'm like, "What?" "Yeah, we're going to LA. We're going to the Hollywood Bowl. We got Tom Petty tickets. We have an extra ticket. Come with us." And I'm like, I'm in my shorts. I'm at the beach. I'm not going to a concert right now. I don't. And they come on, and I'm looking at these 3 cute girls going to the concert, and they're like, "Come with us. It'll be fun. You don't got to do anything except get in the car." And I go, "That sounds actually perfect. I'm going to do that."
Yeah.
Okay, let me just get my shoes on, get some clothes on, and let's go. I'm ready now. Boom. So I get in the car. They're having a lot of fun. The 2 girls that aren't driving are pretty loose. Okay. And I'm like, but interesting loose. So we get, they're very relaxed, let's say. And we get there. And when we get there, I forget who opened the show because it was pretty profound after that. But when we get there, I'm sitting and we're getting situated. And I look over at them and they look at me and they go, "Okay, here's the deal. We took acid and we brought you some too." And I'm like,
"How nice of you."
What are you talking? This is not what I want to do. And I'm not prepared. This is a really weird environment, but they talked me into it. So I do it.
Pretty girls can be pretty persuasive there,
They
Scott,
persuade me. Yeah. So the concert just started and they give this to me. And I'm basically now I've just out of nowhere decided to drive up to the Hollywood Bowl to see Tom Petty. And now I thought they were just going to give me a hit of acid, but she ripped it off of something. And I'm sure it was more like 2 hits of acid.
Yep.
So I'm watching the show and it's I don't know if you guys have done this, but it's right when you're coming on, you get a really a relaxed kind of euphoria when you first come on before it starts to the roller coaster starts to really kick in. So most of that show is just, for me, it was just oh yeah, this is an incredible feeling, and I'm real lucid, and I'm watching the show. I'm not seeing I'm not hallucinating or anything like that. I'm lucid and present, And I'll leave it there for now. You can ask me some more questions. That's how my adventure starts.
Okay. So my first question is, had you done that before, or was this totally a new experience?
LSD.
Yes.
Correct.
I was experienced.
Okay.
already.
Okay. So it wasn't, because I'm thinking you're there with what? How many thousands of people? I can't think of anything I want to do less than LSD the first time in a group of that many people. Oh, they're all looking at me.
I'm with you.
I had done it a handful of times, so I was already experienced and knew I know what's going on. I had my bearings.
Okay, you knew the phases. You okay? Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all right, so you get there and it starts to kind of kick in. Do you remember where you were in the bowl, kind of where your seats were?
Yeah. They weren't super close, which was kind of cool. Everybody wants to buy the closest seats to it in a concert. Just saying, if you don't go to a lot of concerts, just saying, it is fun to be close. But when there's production and lights and you want to see everything, and honestly, you want to hear it, the way a speaker works is you got to come off of a speaker. So if you have these big speakers on the sides of the stage, you want to be back. There's a reason why the sound guy's in the middle, in the back, it sounds good back there. So we were back there. We were back just past the front of house, maybe the loge behind that. Okay.
And there's no cover on this thing, right? Other than the stage.
No, it's all open. It's all open air.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful summer night, Southern California, perfect, a breeze in the air,
nice
sunset, just picturesque, beautiful, and nobody's being too weird that I'm with. Everyone's just having fun. And the concert's going, and I'm a huge Tom Petty fan. I love Mike Campbell. I love the band. And one of the reasons, if you've been to our show, I use a lot of guitars. And a lot of people love it. Some people want to criticize because they got nothing better to do. But I use a lot of guitars when I play. And one of the main shows I ever saw was this show, because all night Tom Petty is constantly switching guitars, and the next one is cooler than the last one. Yeah. both Mike and Tom do this all night long. And it's so cool.
That's
and I remember feeling like, I'm going to do that. Yeah. I'm going to do this. Is so cool. It's total guitar porn. It's really fun. And you can hear the difference and stuff. And I remember seeing this and feeling like, yes, this is a huge part of the show. And I loved it. And of course, Wildflowers, it's basically just the greatest hits night. He always throws in great covers. So the show is just going so perfect, and I'm coming on and feeling like, oh, wow, yeah, man, it's like that light Southern California 76-degree weather on my skin.
Oh, wow.
These sweet girls just totally like hanging out and loving it. And they're loving, now that I'm on the trip, they're loving it too. And we're all hanging out and everyone's happy, and the show's so good.
That's amazing.
But as the show goes, it gets dark now. And now there's a full light show, and just so many hits. The band is so Ben Montanch. The band is so on point. It's playing so well together. I'm also a huge fan of Mike Campbell's guitar playing and phrasing and choices and melodic sense. Just
I gotta say, he's underrated, man. He doesn't get the credit he deserves because he's not flashy. He just serves the song, and he doesn't get credit for being so good at that.
Yeah, and I find that he has plenty of flash when he wants to break it out. It's always classy, though, and he really is a benchmark for me, like playing to make a song great, a great writer, a great melodic player, and somebody who's not afraid to just play the right thing. Put the thing in there that sounds good, even if you don't look like Eddie Van Halen. Just put the thing in there that feels right, you know? And I've tried to do that with this band as much as I can. Like, let's just fit that in there because that's what belongs. And I remember feeling that on this night and just feeling very summertime great about the whole thing. Then the lights go down, or the sun goes down and the lights come up, and the L starts to hit a little bit harder, and it hits a little bit harder, and the songs are getting more intense now that it's dark. The thing that I last remember about that show that really set in with me was they're wrapping up the show with Last Dance of Mary Jane, and they have like saved lights, it felt like, till the very end. And they're hitting the stage with this gold light so hard. And they do this extended jam of Last Dance. Nice. And it's going on, and it's so good. And it's got that droning piano thing at the end, you know? And they're just burning on this. And I'm completely pretty much peaking by this point and going, I remember watching it and thinking, I'm never going to forget this. This is like really heavy right now. It was amazing. It was we peaked at the same time. Yeah, I peaked, the show peaked, the audience peaked. It was like an amazing, powerful moment and an amazing time for a powerful band, like an amazing time for them, you know?
Well, that sounds like an amazing moment. Now, do you remember was that your favorite song, or was Girl on LSD your favorite song of the night there? Because when I saw they played that, I'm like, oh, that must have been a good one that evening.
There was no bad songs. It was like a greatest hits show. That's how, like I said, that's how his shows kind of felt. But that was the song of the night for me, because it was just so, you could feel that it was a lot of it was off the cuff, and they had just like, it just felt like it got louder and bigger, and like they really like a proper encore really saved themselves for this final like bit. Everything was perfect, and then the thing you don't prepare for when you're having an experience like this is when it ends.
Yeah. Is that the biggest disappointment? It's like, oh, man.
It was really strange, man. That's what I'll tell you. The strangest I've ever been to. Like, at a show, here it is, the show ends, the energy, there's so much energy everywhere in the audience, sold out Hollywood Bowl, and then they pop on house lights at the bowl, and the band's gone. And I'm on 10, and I'm like, oh no. Oh no. I didn't account for this part.
Right.
What time? And I'm looking at my watch. I'm looking at the time like, what time did we take that stuff? Because
I got a little way.
I think it's only been like 2 hours or something, 2.5 hours or something. We have like another 2 hours coming. Oh no.
Yeah.
So that begs the question. I was going to say, that begs the question, what did you do after that?
Yes.
We had to get out of that place. And the funniest thing is the other two girls were so maxed out, they couldn't even think. They were at the part of the night where they can't even talk. They're just giggling and kind of confused. So I'm like, one girl didn't take it. She was going to drive.
Okay, good.
So, but she didn't know where we parked, and she was having too much fun anyway, and she was out of it. I said, I have no idea where we parked. I couldn't even understand where our parking lot was at this point. Like, okay, I don't know what. I'm completely disoriented, and everyone's moving around. I don't know how to get out of here. I'm not sure how to get out of this place. So I go, let's just go down, because you go like into the like building, you know. Let's just go down, and we just start moving with the group of people, and seems like we're just moving and moving and moving, not even able to really put logic together. And then I just said out of nowhere, does anyone remember where we're parked? And they're just giggling. And I go, I think we should go up right over there. I literally picked the most random. Let's just get up now. We went down. We got to get up. We go up, and I'm not kidding you. I'm not making this up. We go up this one random spot I picked, and our car is sitting right there, right when we pop up. And I go, that's our car? Our car is right in front of us, right when we popped out. Yes, that's our car. Okay. So it's hard to get out of the bowl. They stack the parking. So we get in the car, and I'm really glad they're stacked parking, because I don't really want to go anywhere too quick. Yeah. Eventually we get moving. It's completely frightening. I think it's like an hour to get home from LA from the bowl, and they had a blanket in the back. So I just went under the blanket for the remainder.
Don't crash the car. Let me know when I get home.
Yeah, just let me be under here. Yeah. I'm good. I'm going to relive that experience of the show.
And what did they drop you home there and say, all right, thanks, handsome, we'll see you later? Or did they kind of stick around?
They took me back to their house, tried to have their way with me. But
good. That's what I want to hear.
If you've ever done LSD, you realize it ain't that kind of thing, man.
Yeah.
It's not performance enhancing.
No, it went smooth, but it was strange and fun still. It was still fun and interesting.
So, no regrets on the night, I'm going to guess.
No.
Should you?
No, I'm not sure that I would do the same way again, but that kind of makes the most fun experiences, doesn't it? You know?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the story now is great. Yeah.
Yeah. I really telling that story to my friends after it happened. They were like, "Oh, where were you, man?" My whole band, you know? "Where'd you go?" And I went, "You're going to need to sit down."
That's right. Oh, that's awesome, man. What a killer story, man. We appreciate that. I know you got to run here soon, but once again, no grass is growing under your feet. You're about to do the Two-Headed Beast tour with Clutch here through September and October. Tell us a little bit about what we can expect from that.
Well, we're celebrating our 10th anniversary of our record, The Great Western Valkyrie.
Can you see that there?
So,
it's right over my shoulder.
Is it? Do I see it?
Well, you got to look hard. It's back there. There's a few behind.
Oh, I do. I see it. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, so we're going to dig out. I mean, already our set has quite a bit of that material in it. That was just a good record for us, and songs that really translate. But we're going to pull some songs from that record that I think we've never played. Specifically, I'm looking to play Destination on Course, which is a song I wrote actually way before that record. And we've never played it live once, and we'll play that probably amongst a bunch of other songs on that record and stuff off the 2 new records, and we'll mix everything in. I think it's going to be a lot of that. Clutch, I've known those guys since close to the Tom Petty story, honestly.
That long?
I've known those guys for a long, long time. I actually was in a band called Human Lab years and years back, and the drummer from that band went to high school and is best friends with their long time tour manager. So we all hung out. We were all friends. So I've known those guys forever. They are pretty much one of the kings of riffy stoner rock. They're a terrific band. And you wouldn't think we had that many crossover fans, but in Europe and in the States, we always would see people wearing Clutch merch at our shows.
Is that right? Yeah.
So we just thought, this is a cool idea. Somehow Clutch and us share fans and people dig it. So we've never done this. We haven't really done a proper co-headline like this, and we're really, really looking forward to it. It's going to be cool. And we got bands like the Great Fu Manchu, Blackstone Cherry to do selected dates and open some of these shows. And it's going to be a night where the riff is strong, the vibe is high. We're excited. It's going to be fun.
It sounds like a great show, but I don't want to be a jerk here.
Uh-oh.
Is there now? Hold on. Any chance you would get down to maybe the southern states, southeast, anytime? I've been looking at the schedule, like so far away.
I know. I don't book the tour, and I mean, we don't even really suggest. It's so many people and so many things, moving parts. I can't believe it. I think there's not even an Atlanta gig.
No, there isn't.
No Nashville, I mean.
That's weird.
Nothing in
So what I'll say is that's weird. And I don't know why we're not doing that, but maybe we'll just have to do another one predominantly through that area.
There you go.
There we go. There's a lot of great spots to play down here. I'm sure there's a ton of fans down here in the North Florida area. Your kind of music is definitely big down here, and there's a lot of cool places down here to play.
We love it down there. We want to be down there. I'm the worst at it. I'm actually getting on the phone today after I speak with you guys to go over this routing and budgetary stuff for the upcoming tour. So I get in my own world. I get very into it, and then once we're done and it's got a life of its own, I don't know. I have to look at the schedule to know where we're going. If you ask me, I would say, of course, there's an ATL gig. Of course, there's a Nashville gig. Who doesn't play Nashville? So this is all news to me. I actually realized yesterday that there's no Atlanta gig because I have friends down there and people I work with, and I hit up one of my guys, and he goes, yeah, I can't come because you're so far away. And I go, from Atlanta? What are you talking about? I don't even know what's going on my own tour. But what I will tell you, I know it's going to be great. And if you do get to a show, our band is firing right now. We're hitting hard. We just came off of 2 months in Europe. The band is locked and feeling really good. And I know Clutch is just nonstop. They lock. So it's going to be good. I'm hoping for a little bit of like friendly rivalry on a night-to-night basis.
Yeah,
I love that.
That's
each other.
Coolest.
Yeah?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that shit. I love their band. So it would never be anything weird. I just love the idea of bands like constantly raising the bar when you do something like this.
Yeah. It's not in a mean way, but like in a, you got to bring your A game because they're going to.
All I know is if they come too hard one night, we're going to go the other direction because we know what they don't. We know what they don't have. Ballads, acoustic songs. They're going to go so hard one night, and then we're going to go, all right, this is an acoustic night. It's time to fight fire with something else.
Yeah, that's right, with ice. Yeah, kick ass. Well, I know you got to run, man, but this means a lot to us. We want to wish you the best out there on the road. You're a badass. You're keeping rock alive. Go have some fun in the U.S. this fall. Thanks for joining us here. It's been a blast.
Hey, take care. Thank you guys.
Bye.
Well, thanks, Scott Holiday, for coming in and talking to us not so much about Tom Petty, but more about the circumstances around seeing Tom Petty live and the special guest he was of some special girls with a little something extra there. That's what we're trying to do here on First Concert Memories. It's not just about the music. It's about that special night. What happened? Why was it so special in your life? And here's somebody who's out there making special nights for people all around the world with his band, the Rival Sons. But at one point, he was still a young man. He was still a fan. And seeing Tom Petty live at the Hollywood Bowl was a special night for him in his journey to rock stardom. Now make sure you go out and see the Rival Sons on this tour with Clutch. If you're in the Southeast, you may be out of luck. You may be needing to jump on an airplane to go see them. But go check them out. The last 2 albums, Dark Fighter and Lightbringer, I love them. And they're going back in time for their Great Western Valkyrie, which is 10 this year. There's going to be a special edition release on that. Plus, they're going to be hitting it pretty hard live. This will be a fun show. I don't know where we're going to fly to see him. We're going to do our best. But follow them on socials and go see Rival Sons and Scott Holiday live. We appreciate you, Scott. We love you coming on. Hopefully, we get to talk to you again here real soon. Now, what was your first concert memory? Who really turned you on? Which night seeing a band live was a huge moment in your life that changed it for the better? We want to know about it. Why don't you tell us about it? You can email us. It's uglyamericanwerewolf@gmail.com. And you can let us know the bands, the artists, the tours that you want to hear us talk about on the main show, or which artists you want to hear on First Concert Memories talk about the first night they saw some band that changed their lives. Thanks, as always, to Pantheon Podcast for making us part of the family. And thanks to our sponsor, RareVinyl.com, where you can use the code UGLY to save 10% off one entire purchase. Not just one item, but one entire purchase. They got a little Rival Sons and Tom Petty stuff there for the taking. That's it for this month on First Concert Memories. Make sure you tune in every week for the Ugly American Werewolf in London Rock podcast. And don't miss the next couple of months of First Concert Memories, because we have some killer guests, people you're going to know, and great stories around one particular night with a particular band. So keep going to see live music. It's the only way to keep rock alive.